Vicky from Rockstars and Royalty. I want to inspire you to break free from fashion trends and from beauty standards and to find your own unique style. In my Rocked Up Frocks series, I take vintage and pre-loved clothing and give it a makeover. And today I'm going to be making over this little purple dress that I found at the Green Shed here in Canberra. It cost me $25 and it's brand new and still has a $250 price tag on it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and please leave a comment. I love chatting to you all. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be making this dress over with the lace that I dyed in my dyeing tutorial. So I've dyed one piece for the bodice and then I've ombre dyed this piece of lace for the skirt. The only thing I've changed since the tutorial is that I've re-dyed the purple at the bottom of the lace. It was just a little bit too blue to go with this really pinky purple of the dress. So I went back over it using exactly the same method as you can see in my tutorial, but I mixed the purple dye with a little bit of red dye just to get that slightly more plummy colour. The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this bubble hem, and to do that I'm just going to cut around where the fabric joins the lining. And it doesn't have to be neat because I'm going to cut this skirt shorter. Next I'm going to measure down from the waist seam to the finished length that I want the skirt and allow an extra inch. Now I've marked my length plus my seam allowance for the hem, I'm just going to cut along where the pins are. Next I'm going to pin my hem and then hand sew it and press it. Next I'm going to unpick the zip and I'm going to take off this waistband, which is just held on with a couple of really loose stitches and then sewn in with the zip. Now I'm going to cut the skirt lining out. It's not nearly as full as the outside fabric of the skirt and I want to be able to put a petticoat underneath this dress. I'm going to cut it just below where it joins onto the lining of the bodice and then turn it up and stitch the raw edge underneath. Just want to say that even though this dress was retailing for $250, it is just so badly made. The finish is awful. Look how uneven that stitching is. Nothing's been finished and it's just fraying everywhere. Look at this. Look at the stitching here. It's just terrible. But for $25 and to use it as a base for a rock type frock, I'm going to hide all the imperfections and turn it into something that looks like it's worth a lot more. The next thing I want to do is try and get rid of this pleated layer over the bodice. What I'm hoping, it looks like there's a layer of satin underneath it, so I'm hoping I can unpick the pleated layer and take it off. Yes, there's a layer of satin under here, so I'm going to cut really carefully, making sure I only go through the top layer. So I've taken all the pleated part off by cutting as close as I can to the skirt seam. There's just you can just see the edge of the fabric where I've cut it there, but the lace is going to hide that. And now I'm going to do the same along where it's joined to the lining. I'm just going to cut as close as I can to that, and when we put the lace overlay on and turn it onto the inside, that's going to hide that raw edge as well. Because we've taken out the skirt lining, I've stitched up the seam allowance of the skirt towards the bodice, and after I put the lace on, I'll stitch the bodice lining back down to hide that raw edge. So this is the piece of lace that I dyed separately for the bodice part, and I'm going to start by lining it up in the centre of the bodice where I want the pattern to be, and I'll pin in some little pleats and darts as I go because we're putting something flat over something curved, so we're going to need darts. And then once it's all pinned on, I'll cut the edge and turn the seam allowance to the inside, cut it off just above where the skirt starts, and hand stitch around the whole edge to hold it in place. now folded my lace in half lengthways with the scalloped edges together, and I've pinned along the scallops to keep it nice and even. Now I'm going to cut the length that I need for my skirt, which is 19 inches from the bottom of the scallop, including seam allowance. Before I folded it, I cut this off from one end because I'm going to make a jacket, and I'm going to use the ombre to make the long sleeves of the jacket to go with the dress. I've cut all the way along and I've stitched down both edges, which will now form the side seams of our skirt. Holding my side seams together, I'm going to fold one half of the lace in half again. So I've folded it in half, and I'm going to cut down the length I need for the zip opening. Now with right sides together, I'm going to pin the lace for the skirt on. So I'm going to match my side seam to the side seam of the bodice here. And then I'm going to gather all of this lace, and then I'll do the same at the back. Now that's all gathered, I'm going to stitch the lace onto the dress about 1 centimetre above the seam at the waist. Then all I have left to do is stitch the zip back in and catch the lining of the bodice down around the waist, and then I'm going to make a little jacket from the piece of ombre lace that I saved and from the offcuts that I've got. Thanks for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this makeover. I really enjoyed doing it. I love this dress and I can't wait to wear it to a party. Because of all the changes on YouTube, you have to have a huge number of subscribers now to have a community tab here. So instead of that, I've created a Facebook group. If you want to come and join and continue the conversation about upcycling, sewing, confidence, body confidence, and just being yourself, come and join us. I'll put a link in the description. I'll be back soon with more videos. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and come and follow me on social media, find my Facebook group, and I'll be back soon.